In this video I'm going to show you how to fit a quickshift mechanism, which is this unit here, onto the standard Porsche 996 or 986 gear shift mechanism, which is this unit here, which has been removed from the car. The main advantages of this are going to be that this will give a shorter throw between gears, and this unit, which has been modified to improve it with much better bearings on the end here, is also going to give a reduction in play. So if we look at this unit here, you see there's quite a lot of play in the ends. These plastic bearings here, these tend to wear, so we get a lot of free movement, which gives for sloppy gear changes. So the first thing we need to do is to remove this unit, which is done by removing these clips here. So we're going to cut these off, and then we'll be able to extract this mechanism. To get this old shifter out, we've got to remove these clips here. These basically push in with these tangs on here. Now, they're not easy to remove without cutting them out. So to cut them out, I'm going to use a standard knife to score across the back of them and then break them off using a screwdriver. So I'll do those one at a time, starting off with the ones around the top and then moving around to the bottom. So there, that's the first one done, come off just like that. Then after doing the first one, just repeat for the others. There are 4 around the top which we can get at, then we're going to have to rotate it to get to the bottom. So with those 4 done, I now need to get at the ones on the bottom. It's not easy to access from this side, so I'm just going to rotate this piece here using a pair of pliers so I can get at the ones on the bottom. Now that's rotated, I can get to these ones here. Now that these tangs have been removed, we can remove the gear lever. So we can just pull this section out. You can see I've already removed the one at the other end. Before it'll come out, we've got to remove this lever. To do this, we've got to undo this clip on here to pull this pin out. That can be done with a screwdriver just from the back. So there's the pin. So now we just need to pull that pin through. Then we'll be able to lift out the gear lever with the mechanism. Now that our gear lever has been removed, we're going to need to reuse this part, so we can just keep this as it is and clean it up. From this part, we're not going to need this because the new ball is a larger diameter and will fit snugly inside here. We will, however, need to use this cable attachment, but this will just unclip and that will clip onto the new one. So we're done with this and we can now throw it away. Okay, so now we're ready to fit the new quick shift. If we compare the new shift to the old shift, we'll basically see that the lever on the new one is slightly longer, which basically gives us more leverage, so we get a faster shift with it. That's how the quick shift operates. It only operates in the forwards backwards plane. If you look from the side, the distance from the centre to this lever is exactly the same, so the left to right operation is the same. It basically has to be the same because it's got to reach to where the mechanism sits in here, so it's got to reach from the centre to here, so that distance will remain the same. These are held in place with 19mm nuts, and the centre also has an M6 hole for an Allen key there. So take the nuts off and pull these ends off. These are a very good fit, so nice airtight fit on there. And then we can assemble this unit into here. So before we do this, I'm going to give this a nice clean, and then going to put just a little dab of grease, of special grease for plastic, onto here, so that when that fits in there, it's going to be a nice fit and be well lubricated. So that's it. Go and clean that up. Okay, this part has now been cleaned up, so I'm just going to apply a small amount of white grease to it, and then I shall be able to assemble this in here, and it'll be able to go back in. Okay, with that fitted in place, I'll now be able to attach the ends onto here. You'll notice on the bottom here is a groove. This groove lines up with a pin in the bottom of here. And it's because of that when you try to rotate the end fittings, when trying to remove those tangs, it's actually quite difficult to do. It'll go round in steps because of those tangs in place. But I find that the plastic on here is much harder than the white plastic, so it doesn't tend to damage the plastic in here. Now that these are on, we've got to fit the circlips onto here and this other end, and then with those on, we can then adjust it. With the unit back together, you'll be able to see that there's a fair bit of movement across here. So what we need to do now is to tighten up using the Allen key on the end here to equalise the distance front to back, and then make sure we get rid of that spare movement. When it's adjusted with no play, then we can tighten up the lock nuts. Before you refit this pin on here, make sure that this cable is coming through on this side, because if it's coming underneath, it'll be very difficult to move it afterwards. Then when refitting the pin, note that it has two flats on it, which have to line up with the flats in the housing. Then it'll just fit into place and clip in. Then we need to clean up and refit the bottom linkage. So when that's all cleaned up, that will just push into place. There. And there we have it. That's our quick shift fitted and ready to be reinstalled in the car.